Hey, what's up everyone? In the last video we implemented this compute legal moves method for our king class, and today we're going to continue with our pawn classes. So let's start with our white pawn. As you remember, we created two pawn classes earlier, unlike the other piece types, because the moving patterns for the pawn pieces differ according to its color. So you'll see in a moment how it's different. It's actually very simple, but let's start by creating a list of squares, as always, called legal moves. We're going to return this list. Okay, so as you probably know, a pawn can go only forwards. It can go directly to the square in front of it if it's not occupied by another piece. It can also go 2 squares forward if it's in its initial position. So it hasn't moved yet. It can go 1 or 2 squares forward. And also it can go diagonally forward, left or right, if there's an enemy piece on that square. So we are going to check those cases one by one. And let me tell you right now, I'm not going to cover in this video the chess promotion, which happens when the pawn reaches to the last row, and I'm not going to cover the en passant rule in this video. So I'm going to do that later to keep things simple as possible. So I'm going to only cover the 3 cases: forward, right forward, and left forward cases in this video. So let's start with creating a target square reference. Get adjacent square. I'm going to start with the square just in front of me. So the horizontal offset is 0 and vertical offset is 1. Now I have to check if the target square is not null, and there shouldn't be any pieces on that square. Get piece is null. In this case, legal moves, add target square. Alright, and now if I can make this move, I'm also going to check if I can go 2 squares forward. To be able to check that, I'm going to see if I'm at my initial position. So if I'm at row 2, the second row for the white pawn here, this is where it differs actually from the black pawn. If I'm at the second row, I can check if the square in front of the square in front of me is empty or not. So 2 squares forward is empty or not. Square get row is 1. I'm checking if it's 1 because 1 corresponds to the second row. As you know, the indices of arrays start from 0. So I'm here checking the second row. I guess I don't have a get row method in the square class. Let me quickly create this method. Return where is second row. All right. Go back to the white pawn. And if I'm at the second row and the second row is not occupied, so target square. All right, I forgot to assign the target square. Now it's equal to square get adjacent square 0, 2, which is the square 2 squares ahead of me. Get piece is null. So copy and paste that. Alright, I have checked the first case, which is directly forward. Now let's check the case of the diagonal squares. So let's assign the target square get adjacent square 1, 1, which is 1 square right and 1 square forward. If target square is not null, this time I'm going to check if that square is occupied by an enemy piece. So target square get piece should not be null actually, and also the side of it, get side get piece side is not equal to my side, so it should be an enemy piece. Then I'm also going to add the square to my legal moves. Okay. Now let me go ahead and copy this and reuse it. I'm only going to change the horizontal offset here. I'm going to make it -1. So I'm now checking the left square, left and forward, and the rest of it is the same. Okay, I guess it's good enough for now. Again, I'm not covering the en passant and pawn promotion features at the moment. Okay, now that we have completed this, I can copy and reuse this in the black pawn class. So two things will change when it comes to the black pawn. The first thing is the moving direction, obviously. So I have been checking, always checking the forward direction. Now for the black piece, black pawn, I have to check the negative. So I'm going downwards. So this all vertical offsets will be negative. And the second thing we have to change is here we are checking our initial position. If we are at our initial position, we can go 2 squares forward from the perspective of the piece, of course. So the initial row is 6. It corresponds to the 7th row actually. And that's all. We have also completed the compute legal moves method for our black pawn. So in the following few videos, we are going to complete this method for our other pieces, and we're going to improve our graphical user interface and artificial intelligence when it's done. So take care. See you in the following videos.